this this is not a race that you dominate. Usually, this is not a race where you dominate as an 18-year-old. This is not a race where you get your first ever World of Outlaws high limit national touring win. This is not a place where a guy makes his first ever feature and wins and absolutely waxes the field like nobody's ever seen before. And it's not a race where a regional based team wins. It just doesn't happen. But tonight, Ryan Timms absolutely waxed their ass, and it wasn't even close. That was one of the most dominating, most impressive performances I've ever seen. I've only been going to the Nationals for about 4 years now, but I've watched a lot of them, obviously. I mean, even when Kyle Larson was, the last 2 years, he led all 50 laps. That's what Ryan Timms did tonight. But it did not look as dominating as what we saw here from the 18-year-old of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. First off, congrats to him. Congrats to Shane Liebig. I mentioned it in yesterday's video, I believe. Shane Liebig is a channel member here on my YouTube channel. He pays me $3 a month just to have my YouTube channel going. Shane Liebig, awesome guy, and it's so cool to see that for him and for that team. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. I mean, I am not one that likes to see races absolutely, completely dominated, but when it happens and it's a storyline like this, I do not mind at all. It was impressive just to watch him get around the track and gap the field as quickly as he did here tonight. So, and that's enough of the opening monologue. I just had to say that. I mean, it was just an incredible performance. That's all there really is to say it. So we'll get into the race recap. Most of this is the feature, a little bit at the beginning of the night as well. I did want to start things off. It was an interesting start to the night in the D main. They're lining up for the D main. And Zach Hampton, I'm not sure if something broke on the car or if he was just trying to catch up to the front of the field or something, but he came down the track and smoked Jordan Goldsberry. He flipped under the pace laps. Hampton had a broken car, and so they went back to the infield and they didn't start the race. But that got off to an interesting start. Hampton, I gave him $30 for this hat, so he's going to need that for a new radius rod. Not a good start to the night, as they were trying to, get this race in quickly. In the B main, we'll skip to that. The transfer cars out of that into the feature, Brent Marks, James McFadden, Parker Price Miller, and he made it. He did it. After all week looking very pedestrian, Donnie Schatz, his 27th straight Knoxville Nationals A main, I believe that's the number, 26 or 27. But Donnie Schatz, I was on my feet for the last 2 laps. He did get very, very lucky. Chris Windham, who started on the pole of the B main, was fading back. It seemed like every 5 or so laps he'd lose a position. And then with 2 laps to go, or 3 laps to go, Brock Zierfoss is up there. He's fighting for a transfer spot. Jack Anderson's up there fighting for a transfer spot. It's Jack Anderson, Zierfoss, Windham, and Schatz. They're all right there in that little mix there. And then all of a sudden, Zierfoss gets over the cushion, trips over the right front, big flip. He's done. At the same time, under the red, Jack Anderson loses brakes. There's steam coming out, water coming out from underneath the hood. His night comes to an end and puts Donnie Schatz in prime position for the restart, starting 5th, goes to the top, and circles around Chris Windham to make the feature after a lot of people said that he wasn't going to. And I thought he was going to. I had him in my prediction video, but I was getting a little bit worried. He waited to the very last minute to make it happen. But Donnie Schatz, that was great to see him make the A main. Very, very cool stuff there. Now let's get into the feature. And it was a feature completely and utterly destroyed by Ryan Timms. But we'll get into it. Ryan Timms, Carson Macedo on the front row. Ryan Timms leads he's leading lap number 1. And Corey Day from 6th to 3rd on the opening lap. I didn't get to see Corey Day. I was more watching Timms and Macedo. But I looked back as they were coming off a 2 on lap 2, and Corey Day was already in 3rd. He went 6 to 3 in 1 lap. So Corey Day was off to a quick start. Lap number 6, the top 5 cars are all around the bottom of the racetrack. And I mentioned this before, and I said this at Eldora for the Kings Royal. I get a little bit worried about the racetrack when, there's not many laps on the surface. We didn't have qualifying. We didn't have a ton of hot laps, right? We had a D main, and then we scratched the E main, only a D main, a C main, a B main. So that makes me a little bit worried about the track surface, but it was a little bit fast to start, but it got very, very good at the end. And so on lap 6, the top 5 are all around the bottom, and Ryan Timms in 6 laps already a straightaway lead over Carson Macedo. And then on lap number 7, Rico Abreu makes it by Sheldon Haudenschild for the 6th position, and Timms is in the traffic on lap number 9, so it did not take him very long to get to the tail end of the field. Lap number 10, Logan Schuchart goes by Brad Sweet for the 4th position, and then Corey Day and Logan Schuchart are closing in on Carson Macedo for the 2nd spot on lap number 13. Day then tries a big slider in 3 and 4 on Macedo for the 2nd spot. Could not clear it there on lap 14, but he did get very close. They both kind of hopped over the cushion. Macedo able to maintain that 2nd spot down the front straightaway. And then around that same time, Ryan Timms already over a 3-second lead over the rest of the field. Logan Schuchart, Corey Day trade 3rd and 4th on lap 15. Schuchart goes by. Corey Day a lap later gets back by him. And so those guys are having a pretty good battle there. On lap 16, Sheldon Haudenschild from out of nowhere, he gets by Brad Sweet and Rico Abreu in what seemed like the span of maybe a lap and a half or so. He had a really good set of corners there, goes up and into 5th position, and then 2 laps later, both those drivers, Sweet and Abreu, are able to get back by Sheldon, but there for 2 laps. Sheldon had something really figured out. He would end up in the top 10 in this main event. And then right about lap 21, getting close to the halfway mark, Kyle Larson starts making his way forward. He started 9th. It looked like he faded maybe 10th or 11th there in the first couple of laps of this race. But he gets by Brad Sweet for the 6th position on lap number 21. And then the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place cars are in a gaggle there, trying to race for 2nd. And Ryan Timms is out there like it's just the easiest thing of all time. He's got no issues up front. But Macedo, Day, and Schuchart are all over each other for 2nd as Macedo maintains that position. And then right around halfway mark, Bill Balog pulls off. He would end up 24th in the main event. But Balog had a problem. He pulls off right before the halfway mark. And then there's a moment on lap 25 when Corey Day and Logan Schuchart, I want to say Schuchart tried to slide in front of Corey Day coming into turn 3. They nearly crash each other. They both keep going in turn 4. Very close call. That was on the halfway point at lap number 25. And then on lap 26, Darren Pittman then pulls his number 3 car into the infield. And at the same time as that, I thought Ryan Timms' race was over. He tries to throw a slider on Spencer Baston. He clears it, but Baston had a huge head of steam, probably wasn't expecting the slider, and they made contact, got together off of turn 4. Baston had damage, and then at that time when Timms crossed the line, they threw the red for the fuel stop. And Baston, before the red came out, he pulled into the infield. The car was all smoked to the end, or the front end was all destroyed on Baston's car. I don't know how Ryan Timms did not crash there. And at the same time as that, before the yellow actually came out, Schuchart had made his way by Corey Day, but the pass was negated due to the yellow for the fuel stop. And so during that fuel stop, Kyle Larson, the most recent winner of this race, was up to 6th position. David Gravel was up to 13th after starting back in 21st. And Donnie Schatz was up to 16th at the halfway mark. So I mentioned those guys because they are the 3 most recent winners of this race. So they were right there. I mean, not right there, but they were, all 3 of those guys were creeping their way forward, especially Gravel, who would end up on the podium somehow at the end of this race. Then 2 laps after the restart, Ryan Timms already a straightaway lead. I just can't put it into words how dominating this was. He's out to a straightaway lead after 2 laps after a restart. Then Rico Abreu goes by Corey Day for 3rd on lap number 30. And then I'm telling somebody next to me, I said, it looks like Ryan Timms looks like he has like some kind of World of Outlaws 2002 PS2 cheat code in this car. I mean, it is just lights out the entire way through. A yellow on lap 32 for Buddy Kofoid, and Ryan Timms almost hit his car as he was sitting on the top of the track in turn 4. Timms was able to go underneath of him and barely miss him, but another close call there for your race leader. The running order on lap 32 in the top 5, it's Timms, Macedo, Abreu, Day, and Brad Sweet. David Gravel on lap 32 with 18 to go is up into the top 10. And then on the restart, Corey Day, Brad Sweet, they trade 4th. Sweet takes it away, then Day passes him back. So some good action there, right there towards the front of the field. And then on lap 34, Kyle Larson has some kind of problem. His car starts smoking. He's losing spots left and right. It looks like he's going to slow down, but he doesn't. He keeps on going, but it does not last very long because on lap number, lap number 40, with about 20, with 4 laps to go, excuse me, Larson would end up blowing a tire. But before that, he loses all those spots. There's a 3-car battle going on for the 6th position. Giovanni Scelzi holding off Sheldon Hodenshield and David Gravel. And Gravel's like picking a car off a lap at this point. But Gio, at that point in time, is able to fend him off with 10 laps to go. And then with 8 to go, Larson, I guess the car fixes itself all of a sudden. He gets back by Sheldon Hodenshield. He's back into the 6th spot. Ryan Timms working through lap traffic. It's absolutely no problem for him. These lap cars are like they're standing still for him. He goes right by him. 5 laps to go. Brad Sweet brakes and pulls into the infield. No yellow for that. He was running in the 5th position at the time, and it hands David Gravel the 5th position once he pulls into the infield. And then with 4 laps to go, there's the yellow for Kyle Larson. He blows a right rear. The people in the stands are waving at him bye-bye as he went into the infield. There were some Larson people, there were some Larson haters for sure on the backstretch where I was sitting at. They were happy to see him pull into the infield for whatever reason. He was actually running in the 7th position at the time of that incident. And then the running order with 4 laps to go on the restart, it's Timms, Macedo, Abreu, then Day, and then David Gravel into the top 5. And then on the restart, 3 wide for the 2nd position between Rico Abreu, Corey Day, and Carson Macedo, with Abreu taking that spot away at the start-finish line. And then at the end, Ryan Timms wins by 2.8 seconds over Rico Abreu, with David Gravel getting 3rd on the final lap of the race to come from 21st up to 3rd. He was easily the hard charger in this one. So, I mean, Ryan Timms, really, there was no point in this race where it looked like he was going to get passed. I mean, the only time they were close was when they were coming back to a restart, and through 1 and 2, as long as he hit the bottom in 1 and 2 on the restart, there was nothing they could do with him. The Lee Big Motorsports number 10 absolutely dialed in. He's been the winningest driver in Knoxville all year long, and it continues on at the biggest sprint car race of the year. And that is now 2 crown jewels this year, won by 2 different drivers, and neither of them on a national tour. Anthony Macri with the big win at Eldora, and now Ryan Timms, the big win at Knoxville. We'll have to wait and see what happens at the National Open if this continues on, as all 3 crown jewels in sprint car racing could be won by some new drivers, which would be very, very cool to see. So the full feature rundown, Ryan Timms wins $195,000. Rico Abreu, an $85,000 second place finish. He goes from 7th up to 2nd. David Gravel, 21st to 3rd for $45,000. Carson Macedo, for the 3rd year in a row, is inside the top 5, a $30,000 4th place finish. And then Logan Schuchart in 5th for $25,000. Corey Day, $24,000 for 6th. Giovanni Scelzi, 7th for $23,000. Garrett Williamson, 8th place for Garrett Williamson. How about that? $22,000 for him. 9th place for Austin McCarl, $21,000. And then 10th place to Sheldon Hodenshield. He would get $20,000 for his efforts here tonight. Donnie Schatz almost made it into the top 10, 20th to 11th for the Knox father, and he has still got it, I think. It was a little bit scary there all the way throughout the week. He waited till the last minute, but he made the show, and I feel like it just wouldn't be the same if Donnie Schatz was not in the Knoxville Nationals A main, so that was awesome. Brent Marks, he won the B main. He ended up 12th. 13th to Cameron Martin. 13th. He finished all of the laps, had no problems with the car, didn't get in a crash. Nice job to Cameron Martin. I think he made a lot of new fans here this week. He made me a fan. He met up with me yesterday so I could pick up a wheel sticker to put on the board here. I messaged him on Facebook, and he said, yeah, man, I'll meet up with you. So we got a magnet there for Cameron Martin. 14th to Justin Peck. I'm living in last year. 15th to Emerson Axum. 16th, Parker Price Miller. 17th, James McFadden. 18th to Cole Macedo. 19th for Kyle Larson. The three-peat would not happen. A flat right rear tire would take him out of contention. 20th to Brad Sweet. He was top 5 the whole race, and then he had a problem pulled in. 21st to Buddy Kofoid. 22nd to Spencer Baston. 23rd to Darren Pittman. And 24th goes to Bill Baylog. Now, for those of you who have been following the channel all week long, I made my prediction video earlier on this week of who I thought will be the 24 feature starters. I've got the number right here. I said I was hoping for 18 of them. I did not get 18. Let's see if I can write this without screwing anything up. I got 16. 16 out of 24 feature starters. That's more than half. I guess I'll take that one and try again next year. I did catch a lot of flack for that video because I had certain guys in and certain guys out. But I didn't see anybody else putting their video out on YouTube with their 24 picks, letting everybody make fun of them. So anyways, we'll try it again next year. Thank you all so much for watching. It has been probably the biggest week of this channel's history. So many new subscribers, so many new commenters, a lot of views on the videos. It has been really, really awesome. Really do appreciate it. And once again, congrats to Ryan Timms, his first ever national touring win, his first ever start in the Knoxville Nationals A main, and he gets the win. Unbelievable stuff. Congrats to Shane Liebig once again. A well-deserved victory. So cool to see a non-national touring team, a very regionalized team, getting the win in the biggest race of the year. It's a storybook ending. 18-year-old driver. What's he going to do with 200 grand? I have no idea. We'll have to go find it. See if we can find him out in 3 and 4 here tonight. So thank you all so much for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.